Dudley, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Just sitting back and looking on and seeing what's going to be today's excitement and as the hog turns.
It's all right. Set up today's episode of As the Hog Turns in today's soap opera, which I didn't even realize they're being aired anymore. But who needs that when you got college football?
Oh yeah. Right. My wife watches like 3 or 4. General Hospital, and there's a new one on back then. I don't know its name, but yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's been an.
If you're talking soap opera, you're talking, people stabbing people in the back and all that kind of stuff. And I guess that's the feeling.
Staying in comas for 3.5 years and then popping out.
There are people dying and just showing up out of the blue. And how'd that happen? Bobby Petrino apparently, Frank Fletcher was on the buzz and had to basically go and say, look, Petrino's not trying to get the job or anything. And, I think that's partially, that to me, when I think of a soap opera, that's the kind of stuff I'm thinking of. Stuff behind the scenes, backstabbing, and, maybe some stories being made up about it.
Yeah, and then you had, obviously, Braylon Russell's dad, Bishop, going after DJ Williams because he thought DJ slighted his son. So, I mean, those sort of things. And obviously, I have great respect for Brendan Marcello and have certainly listened to his statements this week. So, it certainly has taken Hunter Yurchek out of the fire for a minute here. So
there's always something.
It's just interesting to see what the next day's thing is going to be, and I'm sure that as we go along, something new will pop out today. But hey, there's a football game this weekend. That's pretty cool.
Do you think the whole? Is it as simple as can we be physical? Can we get stops? Can the offense play a clean game? Think about the last time a Coach Pittman team played a big time game and had 0 turnovers. When are we going to do that again? I don't understand how you have a running back you're paying $500,000 to, and he has 4 touches against me. It just like what is this team? Do they even know what they're doing? Like, I wonder. These coaches are making a lot of money, in the mistakes they make, the stuff that it's very remedial. It's very 7th grade football type stuff. You're like, bro, you don't know it's going to be hot on the 5th game of the 4th game of the season, whatever. It's like, I just don't understand what's going on. That being said, Give me a % chance. Handicap this game for me on Saturday.
I'll give Arkansas a 25% chance, and I'm on record with both of the things I throw out with picks is having Notre Dame 41-27. I think Notre Dame, even though they've lost obviously some good players from last year, is better set to be a prime football team. And they've only they've lost a couple of games by a total of 4 points. It's not as if they've gotten blown out. In terms of Arkansas, I mean, we can sit here and say without the 2 fumbles that, they would be 4-0, which is true. But there's a lot of other things they could have done in those 2 games, defensive and even offensive-wise, that put them in position. And sooner or later, you are what your record says you are, 2-2 overall, 7-18 in the one touchdown games. There's such a little thing there that you could do, but after a certain time, if you don't get it done, then that's where the acrimony is going to come in. And certainly the way they've lost these last 2 games, I think, has been more crushing or aggravating to fans than just losing the game.
But that's also, so it's like you're saying, after 5 games, you are what you are. I think in a lot of fans' minds, after 5 seasons, and at this point of the 6th season, the program is what it is. And it's like you want to talk about, well, we will do this, we will do that, and pay attention to these things and paper over that thing, and it's going to get better. But I think where a lot of people are is where I usually would be about the idea of being 5 games into a season. These are your strengths. These are your weaknesses. You're not signing free agents. You're not cutting anybody. This is what your team is. And that's why it's like this game with Notre Dame sometimes feels like it's in the background, but you're on the precipice. It feels like you're on the precipice of a major change, and that based on, if there's an embarrassing result, which some people think may happen, I don't think so on Saturday, that could push it over the edge, Dudley.
Yeah, and we'll see. I mean, there have been several times during Coach Pittman's tenure that I've wondered about how things were going to go. Was this a fork in the road and all this? If they go out and beat Notre Dame, which is certainly possible because Arkansas seems to have one of these big upsets every year. I didn't think they beat Tennessee last year and did here. That'll change the narrative for a couple of weeks, but it's going to be a cumulative thing that makes the decision. And I've been on record as saying that Edie is going to be that decisions are going to be made by people who have money, who have power, who can sway one thing or the other. If you get somebody to step up, as Johnny Tyson has done for basketball, for football, then you either will get better with the coach you have because you will have been more supported in what Hunter Yurchek was trying to get across, I guess, the touchdown club, or you're going to bring in a totally new staff because you are going to have somebody who pays the buyout and goes and gets somebody. Now, one thing I do think would be useless is if you do let this coach go, do not go out and find somebody you think might be good. I mean, this program's to a point now, if it changes directions, if it changes coaches, has to find somebody that is, if they're not a home run hire, they at least got to be a triple.
There's nothing wrong with giving somebody a shot or if they've proven it or whatever, but I like it. Somebody who's already been coaching the way this landscape's changed, it's already been a head coach and kind of had to make some of the decisions.
And I look at some of the hires at various parts of the programs too, and Chad Morris had how many games were coaching experience?
Was it at SMU or Clemson or something? Yeah.
2 seasons, I think that was it. And Sam had none, nor coordinator experience. And when he was hired, I was like, this is actually a pretty fascinating experience. We'll see how this works. Guy that's lived a life all around football and worked for various coaches of various philosophies, and I can't wait to see what it is that he'd like to try to put in place.
We need somebody who's a little bit, and so what do? You kind of go to I don't want to go the other extreme and just get some like military general type person.
Yeah.
But we have to get somebody that's going to be a little more hard-nosed because when you are Arkansas, you don't get all the 5 and 4 stars that you get. So you have to find other ways to win by like outworking them, being tough in camp. You can't say, oh, we're tired in the fourth quarter. So you kind of got to go that way, I think, if you want to have success at Arkansas.
I think we got Dudley back here. Dudley, you there?
Yes, I am, and I don't know where I ended up, but the last thing I remember saying was you can't go out and hit a single and double, which they've been doing a lot lately. And you don't have to hit a home run, but my God, you got to hit a triple at least.
Yeah, well, I also think some folks wonder who's going to be doing the hiring.
That's another good point, because if Hunter's here for 1 or 2 more years, but he goes out and hires another coach, and then a new AD gets in here, a lot of times he's not going to keep that. He's not going to keep that same coach.
Well, do you view? Because with Jeff Long, he and Bielema were tied together. That's from what I remember. That was why Long was fired, because he wouldn't fire Bielema, and then 1 week later it happened anyway. Do you think that Hunter and Sam are tied together in that same way, Dudley?
I don't think they are administrative-wise, the powers that be, but I do think they are tied together through the fan base, the way they feel. And I don't know how much sway that has, again, on the powers that be. But, yeah, I do think the fans have them together, even though, you take it at face value. Hunter Yurchek and all the programs on campus, just about all of them, have been thoroughly, very successful, except for football. But we all know that, many times you are viewed on how your football program is in the SEC when in terms of being an athletic director.
Well, all right, I'm going to give a little positive here. One thing that I do like is the usage of the tight ends. I like Rohan Jones.
He's nice.
That guy's quick. And they put an extra 10 pounds on him. Jaden Platt looks like the real thing, too. I like Poshka. They're using them more. I think that's one reason why the offense has looked better. And, even in the last game, I know Talon might have zeroed in on Blake a little bit. But he's using the middle of the field more. So, you are seeing, they used the tight ends last year. Talon wasn't throwing it over the middle very much. We're seeing more of both right now. So there you go. There's a nice thing.
Well, you had one tight end that's out at Ole Miss. You had another that's going to be here this weekend. Last year's team. So that's that's an interesting dynamic there with Mr. Washington coming back. I'm sure that'll be fun for everybody involved.
I think he had a pretty good game against Purdue, though, right? Like, if you're looking for some of the transfers and where they've gone and what they've done, I don't think Desmond James has a single reception. Satania looks like he's doing pretty well at Oklahoma, though we'll see what happens with Mateer's injury. And then Washington didn't do much in their first two, but he had a good game against Purdue.
Right, and I think that signifies that there were some good players that left the program, whether it was on their own or whether they were urged to. But as you said, not a lot of them have gone out and set the world on fire. And that's, kind of an indictment of what they had in here. And also, one of the things that I don't want to sound negative all the time, but out of the top 15 players in the state, 4 have committed to Arkansas. And I don't care what program you're at, you have got to either have a national base or you have to really get the best players in Arkansas. And that's something that doesn't seem to be happening right now. They've got another one that will announce his decision next week. But it's just, I hate to be, when I was young, I was probably more positive. Now that I'm older, I was more negative. But trying to be fair in, business is business here.
If you had a son and he was 17 years old and he's a football player, Division I athlete, and let's say Arkansas is offering him, would you want him? Would you encourage him to go to Arkansas, or is it too volatile? Is it let's say he could go to Oklahoma, he could go to a couple of schools he wanted to go to that seem like they're a little more secure or a little more stable, or would you say, hey, maybe you can go be one of the persons that helps secure and stabilize this program?
Here's what I would say is that back in the day, I would have certainly encouraged Brooks Dawson to go to Arkansas. I'm a little uncertain about things now, especially with the way things are playing out. But I had a similar situation in that he came to me and he wanted to quit playing sports and go to a Belmont College and be a music agent. And now he's representing Chappelle Roan and Noah Kahn. So I think he made the right decision, and, he made his decision. I think that's what has to be the deal in the end.
You don't always win your first bet. That's why MyBookie has you covered. Use our code HOGS, H-O-G-S, and your first bet up to $500 is fully covered. If your pick doesn't hit, you get it right back with our Bet Back bonus. Go to mybookie.ag and use the code HOGS to claim your Bet Back bonus. MyBookie's, where bettors win together, because bragging's good, but cashing in is better. And your first bet is fully covered. Use our code HOGS.
Must opt in during the bet to use the Bet Back bonus.